Numbers chapter 18. And the Lord said unto Aaron,
Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary.
And thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness, and they shall keep thy charge, and the charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come nigh the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor ye also die. And they shall be joined unto thee, and keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, for all the service of the tabernacle. And a stranger shall not come nigh unto you. And ye shall keep the charge of the sanctuary, and the charge of the altar, that there be no wrath any more upon the children of Israel. And I, behold, I have taken your brethren, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. To you they are given as a gift for the Lord, to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Therefore thou and thy sons with thee shall keep your priest office for everything of the altar and within the veil, and ye shall serve. I have given your priest office unto you as a service of gift, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death.
And the Lord spake unto Aaron,
Behold, I also have given thee the charge of mine heave offerings of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel.
Unto thee have I given them by reason of the anointing, and to thy sons by an ordinance forever. This shall be thine of the most holy things, reserved from the fire, every oblation of theirs, every meat offering of theirs, and every sin offering of theirs, and every trespass offering of theirs, which they shall render unto me, shall be most holy for thee and for thy sons. In the most holy place shalt thou eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy unto thee. And this is thine, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them unto thee, and to thy sons and to thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. Every one that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, and all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto the Lord, them have I given thee. And whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto the Lord, shall be thine. Every one that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel shall be thine. Everything that openeth the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beasts, shall be thine. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shalt thou surely redeem, and the firstling of unclean beasts shalt thou redeem. And those that are to be redeemed from a month old shalt thou redeem, according to thine estimation, for the money of 5 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstling of a cow, or the firstling of a sheep, or the firstling of a goat, thou shalt not redeem. They are holy. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and shalt burn their fat for an offering made by fire, for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And the flesh of them shall be thine, as the wave breast and as the right shoulder are thine. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer unto the Lord have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord, unto thee and to thy seed with thee.
And the Lord spake unto Aaron,
Thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part, and thine inheritance among the children of Israel.
And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the 10th in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come nigh the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as an heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said unto them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them,
When ye take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then ye shall offer up an heave offering of it for the Lord, even a 10th part of the tithe. And this your heave offering shall be reckoned unto you, as though it were the corn of the threshing floor, and as the fullness of the winepress. Thus ye also shall offer an heave offering unto the Lord of all your tithes which ye receive of the children of Israel. And ye shall give thereof the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. Out of all your gifts ye shall offer every heave offering of the Lord, of all the best thereof, even the hallowed part thereof out of it. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, When ye have heaved the best thereof from it, then it shall be counted unto the Levites as the increase of the threshing floor, and as the increase of the winepress. And ye shall eat it in every place, ye and your households, for it is your reward for your service in the tabernacle of the congregation. And ye shall bear no sin by reason of it, when ye have heaved from it the best of it. Neither shall ye pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest ye die.
Now after this time of rebellion, and it was an upsetting period in the life of this nation, you can be sure there were repercussions throughout the camp. In fact, we saw that there was a murmuring of the people. They felt like it had been too harsh in executing the men who led this rebellion. After all, they were very attractive men, and they were leaders. There were those soft-hearted folk there that had no spiritual discernment, and they found fault. And they accused Moses of this. Well, Moses wasn't any more guilty of their death than Simon Peter was guilty of the death of Ananias and Sapphira. Actually, I'm of the opinion Moses might have been a little surprised at what really took place. But now, the very man they accused, when the judgment came, that is, the plague upon them, why, Moses stood between the living and the dead. And he became actually their intercessor at that time. Now we find that it's necessary to establish the priesthood. And we have in chapter 18 the confirmation of the priesthood. Now I'll spend very little time with this, although there are many wonderful lessons that are here. And God says in verse 1, And the Lord said unto Aaron, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. That is, they are responsible for what takes place there. You see, this rebellion was in the family, or the tribe, I should say, of Levi, and it was very serious. And thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. You're responsible. That is what God is saying. And friends, you and I are responsible for the fact of our Christian testimony, and we're responsible for our families, and in a sense, we're responsible for our church. A great many people like to pull their skirts around them and assume a holier-than-thou attitude, shine up their halo, and then look down at the church today and talk about the apostasy. And, of course, it's in apostasy. But you see, the thing is true, that if there is sin in the church, then you and I bear a certain amount of responsibility. There's sin in our family and sin in our lives. We can't escape the responsibility. And that's the first thing God is putting upon Aaron. Aaron, after this, could just take a holier-than-thou attitude. I'm God's elect, and I'm the one now that God has chosen. But God won't let him do that, because there's one thing about God's man. He has to walk in humility. And Moses has already been identified as the meekest man on earth. And this man is walking before God in a very definite way. Now we find that it says among the children of Israel, and friends, I'm not going into the detail here, but God takes up in detail the part of the offering that belongs to the priesthood. God says to them, you'll have no part in the land. God did not give them farms to keep or vineyards to tend or olive groves at all. But they were to have part of the offerings that were brought in. And he identifies that. The best part of an offering was given to them. And that which was known as the wave offering, that was never offered on the burnt altar, but it was given to the priest. Now this is what God says in verse 19. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer unto the Lord have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. It's a covenant of salt forever before the Lord unto thee and to thy seed with thee. Now, that was the way a covenant was sealed in that day, was by salt. Each party would take salt, you know. And here, God says, it's that kind of a covenant that I make with you, that this belongs to the Levite. Now, may I put it in very plain terms today? You're to pay your preacher, and you're to pay those that give you spiritual food. Now, the man that's spending his time doing that, he can't go out today and farm, and he can't go out today and work in a field or in an office or in a factory. And I think it's one of the tragic things today. It's true on the mission field, that many of God's finest workmen down there are having to take a secular job. And the ministry, the church, suffers because of that. That's exactly what God is saying here. And now notice what he says to the family of Aaron and the Levites. Verse 20. And the Lord spoke unto Aaron, Thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. And it's a wonderful thing to look to the Lord, friends. I recognize that it has its problems, especially those of us of little faith. Now, I've been a minister for about 30-some-odd years. I'm now, for the first time, without a church. I have a radio program, and it's been quite marvelous to be in this position. And I want to tell you how good God is. He's been mighty good to this poor preacher. And that's what David said in the 16th Psalm. Listen to him. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. It's a wonderful thing to have God as your inheritance and have Him as your paymaster and look to Him. And it's a glorious position to be in. And that was the position of the Levites. And it meant walking by faith. Now, the question often arises, should a preacher give to the church? And I find today a great many feel that they should not. I'd like to say a word in that connection. Because what we're finding back here are patterns for us. What we are finding back here are not rules and regulations. This is the Mosaic Law, but they certainly furnish great principles by which we're to live. And they are roadmaps for us to help us out in these questionable things. Now, should a preacher or a Christian worker give to the Lord? Well, let me read verse 26. Thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, when ye take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then ye shall offer up a heave offering of it for the Lord, even a 10th part of the tithe. God said to the Levites, you give a 10th of what you get also. May I say to you, I think the Christian worker, whoever he is also to give to the Lord's work. That's the reason I think that he ought to give to his church, or through his church, to his church's program. I've always followed the policy of giving to missions, and I've encouraged my staff. I've always had the offering passed on the pulpit platform when I was a pastor, that they might set an example, you see, to the congregation. Now, I think this is very important, and I've been thrilled. By the way, we've made a policy of sending our books and our tapes to missionaries, and don't charge them a thing. But here's the thing that's quite interesting. Did you know that half of them pay for it? We had a missionary that came in, one of the leading faith mission boards. He was about to lose his faith on the field, and he came home and started listening to our program on furlough. Said he never missed a one. He came out and got all of our tapes. Now, we were going to give it to him. Our man that has charge of the tape ministry, he was going to let him have it because that's our policy. This man said, no, you don't give them to me. I'm a missionary, but I'm going to pay for them. May I say to you, he certainly had the right principle. Now, if he was able to do it, fine enough. But when they're not, and friends, many of them are not. The thing impressed me on the foreign field of the number of missionaries that are driving old second-hand beat-up cars. And when I was on the mission field, several places, I've been afraid to drive with them in a car that I don't think's in good shape, and I never thought we'd make the plane when I was going with one of them. The car looked like it was just running out of, not of gas, but old age had come upon it, like the one-horse shay. It was ready to fall down. Now, I think that's a shame that the church today is not giving the proper instruments, the good instruments to our missionaries. They need tools, and they should have the tools, and God's work should have that. This is a very practical, important section, and I didn't intend to spend so much time with it.